So more people are quitting on Elon Musk. That's the subject of today's video. And it's Linda Yaccarino today. She's the CEO over at Twitter/X. It looks like things aren't going so well for them. And you can see this. Linda Yaccarino steps down as CEO of Elon Musk X. If you've been following this story, which we've been talking about a lot on this channel, she's one of the more sort of public-facing figures of Elon Musk's cult base. This is her. We're talking about X before. Have a listen.
I would say two things that'll continue to just change the way any user comes to expect what a social media platform is. And I would talk about X money, right? It is going to change both payments and the opportunities creators on the platform forever. And then you have to talk about Grok, right? So those two things together, profound differentiation for our company and profoundly propelling us like at breakneck speed.
Okay, breakneck speed. And this is what she says today. After 2 incredible years, I've decided to step down as CEO of X. When Elon Musk and I first spoke of his vision for X, I knew it'd be the opportunity of a lifetime to carry out the extraordinary mission of this company. I'm immensely grateful for him for entrusting me with the responsibility of protecting free speech, turning the company around, and transforming X into the everything app. And so basically what she mentioned in that clip, she's talking about Grok, which is their AI chatbot thing, and also too about turning X into a payments app. This is one of the reasons why Elon would also need to buy off government officials, because these sort of apps, these everything apps that does everything, would be illegal in USA. You have antitrust laws, monopoly problems. You have these kind of everything apps in other places around the world, meaning you integrate multiple functions all at one company. But in USA, generally speaking, people don't do it because, again, we have laws against this stuff. Linda would just go all day, every day, trying to raise money and bring advertisers back to Elon Musk. What kind of boss was he? Well, if you guys may or may not have seen this clip before, this is when Elon Musk is basically telling advertisers to go F themselves. Have a listen to this.
But there's a public perception that that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money,
but
go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think then about the economics of X? If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
GFY.
So that was Elon Musk, and there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. He's saying GFY to advertisers. Linda's job, the person who's stepping down, her job was to bring the advertisers in. So, you know, essentially she had to work for this guy who's an addict, as you guys know, does all sorts of things, is erratic all the time, getting involved with political stuff, has multiple companies, has multiple, you know, baby mamas, has multiple kids. Like this is her boss. And essentially you got to pay her very, very well to keep up with this stuff, or put up, I should say. And this is what's going on is when she, you know, leaving sort of like one of his key babysitters, Musk could really go off the rails in a very, very, I could say, a slide down to bankruptcy. Dan Ives, who's one of the Elon Musk's biggest fans, was out saying, hey, you know, board, you need to step in, remove Musk or put some guardrails on the guy. Musk then says, shut up, Dan. And that's actually a pretty big deal because, you know, basically Musk is attacking people who are most staunchly supportive of him. So that's, you know, we don't know if there's anything said from Musk to Yaccarino behind closed doors. I looked, I was curious if there's any sort of, you know, blow-ups that Musk had. But when Elon Musk is attacking Dan Ives, that's a serious thing. For those of you who follow this particular story, you'll know Dan Ives, again, is one of Wall Street's like biggest pushers of the Musk cult. On top of that, you have these other issues going on. Musk is getting attacked from all sides here. This is Steve Bannon on the situation with Yaccarino. Have a listen to this.
Blockbuster news coming in even as we speak. Linda Yaccarino steps down as CEO of Elon Musk Twitter or X. Hey, Linda, you can run, baby, but you can't hide. You're not going to hide from the lawsuits, girl. We know why you're stepping down and why you're running. Okay, we understand why you're stepping down and why you're running. That Elmo's out of control. Sorry, baby. That came with the job. You took the job. You took the pay. You took the warrants. You took the stock options. You took all, the hundreds of millions of dollars you're going to make. No. If you can't keep Elmo in the nursery and keep him under control, you're going to pay a price. You are going to pay a price. It doesn't matter that you're resigning today, baby. The whole scam over there, the whole complete scam of Elmo is going to be taken apart brick by brick. Okay, brick by brick, all of it. You will be stunned at what you will find out.
So think about how crazy this is, right? Elmo, right, or Elon Musk has already pissed off people, say on the left, right, by partnering with Trump. Now Elon spends his days attacking Trump people, so now you're alienating those people. Who is left for Elon Musk? I mean, basically, he's got this small sliver of cult fans still on X, but now you got Linda Yaccarino, who was probably his biggest supporter on X, is leaving. I mean, the CEO of the company. I mean, this is going to go ugly south pretty quick. This is also, which is interesting. I have to bring this stuff up because you get a lot of attacks here. Elon Musk is now saying that Bannon is in the Epstein files. That Bannon was the guy you just saw in that prior interview. And then you bring up the whole, Epstein file stuff. This is the Benny Johnson dude, who I didn't think I would ever agree with, but you never know. Hey, this is a crazy world that we live in right now. Listen to this on the Epstein stuff.
In there, that box, that's a box of diamonds. Where do diamonds come from? Where are they now? These are very strange
He's saying
things.
diamonds, but what he's referring to is a bunch of evidence, is essentially what he's saying.
Here's a photo of hard drives. Piles of hard drives that were wrapped with evidence tape on them. Not by the feds. According to the FBI special agent in charge, who was in charge of the raid, Epstein put the evidence tape on those hard drives. So we know that there are voluminous mountains of evidence that we haven't seen as the American people. And yet the feds came out with a massive whitewash of all of this and released it to liberal media, it almost as an insult to everybody who's been following this story, and they just don't know the time. That's my take. They don't understand what time it is. They thought that they could just brush this under the rug and that people don't care. People do care. We care if our nation is run by a predator cult. That's important to know. And are those predators given free passes? Epstein certainly was.
Bizarre, bizarre, bizarre. So let me try to put the pieces together. And there's a lot going on all at the same time, okay? So first you have Elon Musk is at Twitter, right? X, and essentially puts out all kinds of content nonstop. And the big threat right now is Elon Musk going to start dumping dirt on all kinds of people, being on Wall Street, being in Washington, being in multiple countries, whatever, right? I mean, he has the platform to do it. It could be true. It could be misinformation. It could be just outright, lies. Whatever it is, Elon Musk has the power to just put out crazy amounts of messages. Yaccarino, who I would agree is just a greedy person, teamed up with Musk, and she's even walking away. Recently, the chatbot has been kind of, I'm not sure how to say it, going off the rails, saying lots of pro-mustache party stuff. I'll call it that. Elon Musk is now forming a third party, which would take oodles of time. It's basically like, running for president or, running yet another company. And you just can imagine, if you're supposed to be CEO of Twitter, but then Musk behind the scenes is always your puppet, but then he's not even 100% focused on that. How would you deal with this stuff? Just the political party thing alone, if you want to read through these things, but you got to be involved in multiple states, organize multiple people, follow multiple laws, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When you read through it, you're like, yeah, it's too much to handle and handle all this other stuff. And then Grok has been calling itself, we'll call it the Mecha Mustache Guy, and saying all sorts of things. And it's really pro mustache party stuff. It's pretty insane. And you know, and then you have this to where we don't, and get this, we're not even talking about Tesla that much today because they're already failing with their robotaxi. They haven't had a new car for years. They try to put out that Cybertruck thing, which is a complete failure. Musk is an addict again, spinning off the rails, and they're trying to raise money over at SpaceX. Like the whole thing is it's all connected. That's what I'm showing you guys. But you have to understand, basically, you have this guy spiraling out of control, and then you have Trump as president. Bitcoin is going to the moon, which doesn't really make any sense either. But this, in my opinion, the whole thing's a bubble, right? Be it with, like, say, even Bannon calling this stuff out. I think a lot of this stuff that we see with the Musk stuff is a representation of today. There's a lot of people who have, you know, daddy issues or however you want to call it. And you know, people need I guess a superhero. They want a deity to worship. Some people are going to worship Trump. Some people worship Musk. A lot of these people, though, they're, for frank, they're easily conned. And then when you see the people attack each other, so here Musk is attacking Trump for talking, you know, trying to evading the Epstein stuff, it gets crazy. And then you involve the financial markets, and then you also involve everyone's interest into basically surround yourself with a bunch of greedy people. Everyone's interested in their, you know, making money from X or Twitter or whatever stupid stuff that they're doing. But the problem is like this culture of the Muskies and the stuff like that. They're all promoting like this, what's the right word to say it? A culture to where the truth doesn't matter anymore, and a culture to where like it's all about, you know, making jokes and you know, essentially just acting like a bunch of adolescent children. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And to anyone who is an adult, we'll you know, talk about it in the way of Ben was saying, you know, you got to keep Elmo from, you know, crapping his pants and keep him in the nursery, essentially. That's essentially what this is. It's like, you know, if you want to go down the route of, you know, USA is run by a predator cult, you can talk about that as well. But that's sort of how we got to the situation, is prioritizing reality TV and entertainment over actual competent people. And I just want to make this really clear. If you ever spend any amount of time learning anything about Musk, it's very clear that he's a total fraud. It's obvious to anyone who has any sort of intellect whatsoever. But that's the sad thing about USA right now, is there's just so many people that are so easily fooled by the Musks and the Trumps and stuff like that. And then you have these armies of sycophants and cultist members that then promote it to the rest of the people who are easily fooled. And for those of us, if you guys are hanging out on the channel, you'll know we're not fooled by this stuff. And that's sort of why we track it together, because it's hard when, honestly, you feel like you're surrounded by fools in this world. I know how it feels, because I really know how it feels. And this is like the foolery keeps getting bigger, but it's ultimately going to implode as you see people just leaving. And I agree with Bannon as well. I mean, Yaccarino can't necessarily walk away from this stuff. She was heavily embedded and promoter of the cult. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this stuff. That's mine. And